Hello, 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 hello. Hey guys, welcome back. It's SimplyKay with another video. So excited to be back with you guys. And today's video is all about failing a nursing class in nursing school and what to do, how to avoid it, and my tips from my experiences so that maybe they can help you out. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and join me on my nursing journey. Hello! So, I think I'm going to bring you guys with me today. So, I really want to record a video, but I don't know what to record. Hello guys, that's my jam! Seeing how this background looks, is it giving you everything. Hello. Okay, so I had to retake Pharmacology 1. Basically, pharmacology, if you haven't started pharmacology yet, is a class where you learn about the drugs and how they work, like their mechanisms of action, the side effects, and what you need to know as a nurse when giving the drugs, what you need to communicate to your patients, so on and so forth. Pharmacology 1 for me was my junior year, and junior year in my program, you got hit with basically a whole bunch of classes that were hard that basically switched your way of studying. So freshman and sophomore year, we're like, okay, we have these classes, we have micro, we have anatomy, stuff you can basically memorize the material. And when you got to your junior year, we got Patho 1, Med-Surg 1, we had maternity or peds, and I happened to take maternity. So I had 3 hard courses alone in my fall semester junior year, on top of having other little classes on the side that were also nursing classes. So junior year fall is like a wake-up call in my program. A lot of people actually don't end up passing, and it is basically where they say we get our cutoff. So many people don't end up passing and they have to wait the year. So my program is you have to get a 75 or above, or you cannot continue on with your class. So you either have the option to, if you know that you're gonna fail, or you basically like feel like there's no way you're gonna get that 75, you can withdraw. There's like a time or a day where you can sit and be like, I don't think I'm gonna pass this class, I want to withdraw myself from it, so that you don't get that F, or that, in nursing it's not even an F but it feels like an F, that C or whatever you have in the class on your report card, whatever it's called in college, I don't know. Basically you have that option, or you have the option to continue on in the course, and maybe, you never know, you might get the grade that you need so that you can go on to the next semester. I was actually doing okay the entire semester. The first test I did like terrible, and I was like, oh no, like this is not good. But a lot of people did very bad on the first test, so I was like, all right, we'll just study different, we'll, you know, figure out what we need to know. We have to meet with our professors if you get under the 75, so no matter what, if you get under the 75, you have to go to office hours and meet with the professor to go over your exam with them, or try to figure out like what happened, what went wrong, what didn't you understand. So that happened, and I always like second guess myself or went with a different answer when I knew that it was the one answer. I would pick something else because I don't know, I feel like we all have that problem in nursing. But this was the first year we actually had nursing formatted questions. Like, it was different. Like, you don't have that in like health assessment, and it's not med calc, so like it's a totally different type of test that you're getting my junior years. Basically, I did so much better on the second test, and the third test I was like, and then the fourth test I did okay. And it came down to the final, and for our finals we had HESIs, and HESIs are like kind of like the ATIs. I think some people use like Hearst. Like, a lot of schools have different things, so our school had HESI, and so I know I needed like a 71 on the HESI to pass the entire course, and I was sitting at like, I think exactly at 75, which was like a heart attack and a half. But basically I had to take that, and I only needed like a 71, and I ended up getting like one. If I would have got one question right, I would have passed this class, but I ended up getting a 74.85 or 86 in this class, and I didn't pass the class. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the earth? Like, I'm just going, peace out, I'm changing my major, it's done. Like, I'm not doing it anymore. Going into this test, I literally was like, if I don't pass this class, I am not waiting a year to You're funny. I am not waiting a year to take it again. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, for this one class, it's just not gonna happen. So I was so against it. I would talk to like friends about it, and I actually had a friend who was going through the same exact thing, so that was like nice to have. We were like, there's no way, like there's no way, like it's absolutely ridiculous that you could not pass a class by less than 0.25. Like, I'm not even talking about I was like 70s or 60s. Like, I had a 74.86. Like, come on now. And we needed 75. You can't round. In Med-Calc, we have to round, but you can't round for our grades. So anyway, it was a really annoying experience, and it kind of was like, honestly, the end of the world. It was. In that time, it was the end of the world. I remember not really knowing, like a lot of people in the past I know have failed and they just stopped school for that year, and they went and got jobs. They became PCTs, student nurse techs, whatever it is, and they just went home, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like, mind you, I was a resident assistant on campus and currently was on the track team and was a part of different organizations on campus, so there was no way to me that I was ever going home. Like, that wasn't an option. When I sat down with the dean, I was like, I'm not going home, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do, because it's just not me. I didn't want to miss out on stuff. I didn't want to go home. I did not want to go home. Not because I didn't want to go home, but it's just like, that just wasn't logical to me. Like, I didn't care about how much money I would have to fork out. I didn't care that it was gonna take longer. No, I don't care. I wasn't going home. So I literally went into, like, I would say not like depression, but it was very, very hard at that point. Like, you have a plan for yourself and you have goals, and I never failed anything in my entire life. And people and like family members don't understand, because for nursing, a C is failing. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I just was at a place, like, I hold myself so high. I've always been like a high achiever. I've always gotten great grades. So it's just like, wow, what the heck happened? Like, what went wrong? I just don't know. So it was kind of like a period of time where like I beat myself up about it. Didn't want to know like how the future was going to be, because mind you, my friends are going to graduate and I'm not. Like, if I do stay and wait the year, then I literally have to go meet all these new people in the class that I'd be in, because it's literally like being held back. It is being held back. So all your friends are graduating, and mind you, not all my friends were nursing majors, but still, like, the people you came in with, you're not going to be leaving with now. So it just felt like hard to make that decision. Like, do I change my major and then I can graduate with everyone? Like, if I change my major to like social work or psych, I'd be able to graduate on time. But then I like looked into that and I was like, it's just not what I want to do. Like, I didn't come to school, I didn't do all this stuff just to be like, all right, I'm just gonna, no. Like, me personally, I knew I wanted to be a nurse. So it's just like, do I give up or do I just take this obstacle and try to get through it? So after a couple months, I just started becoming a little bit more positive about things and trying to be more open-minded about my options and what I had to do. So I ended up taking up a minor in psychology. That, honestly, I tell everyone to this day, is the best thing that ever happened to me, because I figured out another thing that like interests me. And like, I've always been kind of interested in psych because of my electives I had freshman year, but this was like an amazing experience, and so many of the classes that I took for psych correlated with nursing. So when I came back and redid my class or whatever and then had to continue on, I learned stuff in these classes that helped me in my nursing classes, especially psych mental health nursing. I got an A in mental health nursing because I was shown like so many different like things of psych. I learned about the personality disorders. I learned about certain drugs in some of the classes, and I was like, wow, like these correlate. Like these go hand in hand. And then it just went hand in hand with life. I feel like my minor in psych helped me to like appreciate the things I do have and just be grateful for the things that I have, because I had one class that was about community psychology, and we like went and like read about and researched different communities and just looked into things that just made me more appreciative. And then I feel like I found out a lot about myself. I was able to connect to others better after all these classes. So my psych minor was amazing. But moral of the story is, It honestly, it sucks, okay? It sucks. But I feel like it shaped and made me into the person I am today. And I 100% believe that it made me a better nurse and more prepared to be a nurse and take care of my patients. No, I don't think it has to happen to you for you to feel this way, but I believe in my personal situation that I basically kind of did a 360. I changed the way I studied, I changed the way I focused on certain things, I changed the way I prioritize things in my life, because during that time that I was taking the class for the first time, I was really busy. I don't know why I was working so many jobs. I mean, I know why, because that's just who I am, but I was working so many jobs. I was running track, I was an RA, like I was doing a lot of things, but I wasn't managing my time properly. And like, even though I did very well in the other classes, I feel as though the biggest thing was I was studying the wrong way. So my main advice from my personal situation is figure out your learning style a little bit more like early on in your nursing school career, because I didn't really pay attention to learning styles. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do some flashcards and I'm gonna do what I always done. I tried to study with groups and it didn't really work. Like, I just was not understanding it. It was because I wasn't studying with my learning style. And I actually found out this semester that happened, what my learning style was, because I took the time to understand what works for me and what doesn't. So my biggest advice would be to find out what is your learning style. You could be a visual learner, an auditory learner, or a kinesthetic learner, and that means like you're hands-on. You have to actually do something to like retain the information. I am all three. Who in the earth knew that you could be all three? So when I went back to study and retake the class, I recorded the lectures, re-listened to them. I wrote out my notes, that's the kinesthetic part, wrote out my notes. I talked it out with people, and then visually I watched videos on YouTube, and that's how I kind of like brought everything together. I also did read the book, of course. So I did a little bit of everything, and I found out what works for me. I found out that color coding helps me remember stuff. So I started color coding drugs, and that's what helps me. So basically, really my most important thing for like any nurses, student nurses who are going to be nurses in the future, whatever. If you're in nursing school, find out your learning style. See what works for you. What may work for your friend may not work for you. Group studying may not work for you. It didn't for me, but I feel like if you find the right people, each person has something that they can give to the study group that it'll be successful. So I ended up having a study group of 3 people, and it worked like no other. Now, other people would not be able to study with us because the way we studied was a little crazy. We were like, it was fun, like it was enjoyable. It wasn't just like, what does this drug do? Like, it wasn't so serious. Like, we all had like fun personalities, and we were able to make it like funny. Like, we would laugh, but we would be serious and we would know our stuff. So definitely be careful. I would only do a study group of 3, because that way you couldn't really be talking to one person, the other person's kind of left out. Like, you know, 3 people is a good number. Like, you can't break off into subgroups. So I think 3 would be the most that I would personally use in the study group. So that basically sums up my point about like academically wise what to do to avoid that. Also, go to your professors, go to people who are in grades above you, who have been through it, know what to expect, and know how to help you get through it. Lean on your fellow nursing students, because we all have to stick together. It is hard. It is stressful, and you need people who understand what you're going through. While also it is nice to have friends who aren't nurses, so you're not like, you know, just nursing. Like, so you can enjoy every kind of aspect of life, but you need your nursing friends, and y'all are gonna be like this by the time you graduate. But lastly, for anyone that does end up failing or is currently in the situation where they are borderline, or it could be a possibility, or you already failed and you're like beating yourself up and you're down about it, just find time to figure out what you want. If you want to be a nurse, keep your eye on the goal, and it will happen. It does not matter how long it takes you to go to school. It does not matter, because when you're on the floor and you're taking care of patients, no one's going to ask, how many years do you go to school? They don't care. As long as you have your license and you are registered and you are able and capable of taking care of them and giving them the best care that they need, it doesn't matter. It does not matter how long your journey takes. Everyone has their own journey and their own path, so just don't focus on other people, because that's another thing. Like, you can see your other friends doing what they're doing, and if it happens to you, like, you will feel behind and you will just feel like, oh, like, I'm not where everybody else is, I'm supposed to graduate in 4 years. Like, don't let that, there are many people who have not done nursing school in 4 years, so don't let that deter you from keep on going and not giving up on yourself. Another thing is just like, stay positive. Like, it's very easy to get negative, so stay positive, keep doing things that you enjoy, and tell yourself the things that you are good at. Tell the things, like, use your strengths, like, work off of your strengths and what you are good at, and use that to help you strengthen your weaknesses or things that you might not be as good at in nursing school. But just don't beat yourself up about it. It is not the end of the world. Yes, during the time it feels like it is, but it is not. I'm a living, breathing example that is not the end of the world. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. But now that I look back on it, I'm like, I know my drugs now. You cannot tell me a drug and I don't know it. Okay, so back then, if I would have just passed that class, I probably wouldn't know. Like, you know, I mean, I knew some of them, but I would never feel as confident in pathopharmacology than I do now. I retook that class and got an A, went on to Patho 2 and got an A, went on to Patho 3 and got an A. So if you want to go after something and you have a goal, you can do it, all right? I made it plain out. I want to get an A. Like, I don't want a B, I don't want the C that you need to pass. I want the A. So if you put your mind to it, you can do it. But, oh, that rhymed. Ooh, but just don't beat yourself up about it. It's not the end of the world. You will be a nurse. You will be a great nurse. And you will look back on it and be like, I don't even know how I was tripping. Because I'm here, I'm a nurse. And now you can help people. Use your stories to help other people, because there are people going through it who need someone. And I wish that I knew to go search and try to find advice. And I did watch some videos on people who did kind of go through the same thing, but it wasn't as much. Like, I feel like there's a lot more out there now than there was when I was going through it. So definitely just stay positive and know that you can do it. Like, there's no time, there's no rush. You will be a nurse, you will get through it. And to avoid it, make sure you, like I said, know your learning style, use your resources, your professors, your fellow nursing students that already took the classes before you, and your friends. Like, if someone happens to be good at one subject, study with them and you can help them in another subject. Like, use all the resources that you can. But if you feel like you're in danger of failing, reach out for help as soon as possible. Do not wait. Do not think that you can do it by yourself, because clearly something's going wrong and you need to figure it out, so you might need help. Some campuses have academic counselors or something like that in the academic support office. Reach out to them, ask for help, get a tutor. Do what you have to do. You are not dumb if you need a tutor. I love tutors. I feel like they just help reinforce everything, and it's more time for you to study and learn things in a different way. So don't be afraid to get help. If you need help, get help. It's for your good. It's so that you can do well and succeed. So that's really all I have to say, and I hope that you guys kind of got something from my story. If you have any questions, because I don't know, I feel like I could talk about this forever, so if you have any particular questions, just comment them down below and ask me about them. If you have any similar stories, share. I would love to hear everyone's story and hear about what you guys went through, and any tips that you have, leave them down below so other people can look at them and we can all kind of learn something together or be inspired by another person's story. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and join me on my nursing journey. All right, it's SimplyKay, and we out. Bye, guys.